Okay, well, my name is Zeina Al-Nazar. I am half Irish, half Jordanian, Palestinian. So my mother is Irish, my father is Arab. I grew up in the United Arab Emirates, in Abu Dhabi actually, and I went to school here, and it was a wonderful experience because I grew up in a multicultural household, in a multicultural city, going to a very international school. I think that's a great start for everyone, and I hope that my children have that start in life. I went back to Ireland to study law, and I'm actually a trained lawyer. So I'm a trained barrister. Barristers are lawyers who argue in the courts. So for 4 years, I practiced law in Ireland, and I argued cases in the courts. And then I decided to come back to the UAE because my parents still live here. All through my life, I've been acting and doing creative things on the side. Well, I moved back to the UAE about 2 years ago, and I got a job in the financial services sector. I was an in-house lawyer, which was an extremely demanding job. Throughout it, I did keep up my creativity on the side. I mean, I sing, I act, I play instruments, I paint, I've written a children's book. I mean, the creativity is in there, and I guess I always feel I need to express it. Throughout my time in Ireland, I acted, I presented on television, radio, and when I came back to the UAE, I really felt I needed to get back into that. About 4 months ago, I decided that I had enough of sitting behind a desk every day, and it wasn't who I really was. I really am. And I decided to focus on being creative all the time. So what I'm doing now is I'm doing a lot of acting. The theater and the film industry in the UAE is kind of in its infancy, but there's a lot of it going on. There's a lot of support behind it, and I really see it growing here. So I've gotten into the theater and the film industry here in the UAE, and one particular theater company called Resuscitation Theater I've been doing a lot of work with. And what that theater group does is they resuscitate old texts. And what we do is not only do we resuscitate old texts, but we also emiratize them. So back in November, we performed The Playboy of the Western World, which is a very famous Irish play that opened back, over 100 years ago to very bad reviews. And we basically emiratized it, and we made it the Playboy of the Western region. The Western region, as you may or may not know, is a part of the UAE. And instead of being set in a pub, it was set in a shisha cafe. And instead of wearing old Irish clothes, we wore abayas, shelas, kindoras, etc. What we're doing at the moment is we're working on an adaptation of Cymbeline, which is one of William Shakespeare's lesser-known works, and we're emiratizing that as well. So it's set in the fictional town of Wadi El Hail, and we open in Abu Dhabi on the 20th of March, and we're part of the Abu Dhabi Festival, which I don't know if you have time to stick around for it. You should. It's been running for a couple of years. The Abu Dhabi Festival is a wonderful month of the arts, essentially, and we're very lucky to be a part of it this year. And so yeah, that's what I'm working on at the moment. Okay, well, I'm really glad you asked what inspires me and not who inspires me, because I think it's very hard to point to one person who inspires. I like to try and take inspiration from, I don't know, is it cliche to say from everyone and everything, but I do. I try and take inspiration from mostly everything that happens in my life. If it's something bad, well, take inspiration from it to turn it around into something good. And if it's something good, well, then it's very easy to get inspiration from it. What I'd like people to remember me for is, well, obviously, like every person in the world, I would like to leave an impact. That's human nature. That's what we want to do. How I want to do that, I don't know. I'm working towards that. I guess I want to make, again, possibly slightly cliched, but I'd like to make people happy, and maybe that's why a lot of us get into the arts, because the arts do make people happy. You see a film, it lifts your spirits. You see a beautiful work of art, it lifts your spirits. You can pass messages along that will resonate with the viewer or the audience in a way that simply speaking that message can't. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to keep taking inspiration from everyone and everything, and I'd like to find a way to leave happiness to the world. I guess it's so cliched and I hate saying it, but yeah, I'd like people to meet me and say, I'm happy I met that person, and I think that person, I'm better having met that person than I was before I did.